Okay, it says I'm live. The lighting's really bad, but oh well. I'm not reading a physical book right now. So okay. I'll keep going. It says, "A noble girl by the two gods from Corinth."
Corinth, not Corinth.
Oh, I've always pronounced it Corinth. It is a Corinth. My bad.
And you can continue.
Okay, yeah, that's right. A really noble girl. By Zeus, it's clear. She's got good lines right here. Back here as well. Inspecting the girl's bosom and buttocks. All right, who's the other one? Who called the meeting? And
right here, I'm the one.
Okay. Then lay out what it is you want from us. Come on, dear lady, tell us what's going on. What's so important to you?
I'm ready to tell you. But before I tell you, I want to ask you a small question. It won't take long.
Ask whatever you want.
Don't you all pine for your children's fathers when they're off at war? I'm sure that every one of you has a husband away from home.
My dear, it's 5 full months my man's been gone, off in Thrace, taking care of the Eucrates.
Footnote substituting the name of an Athenian commander, not certainly identifiable for the name of a city that the Athenians were besieging.
Okay. And mine's been stuck in...
And mine's been at Pylos,
Okay.
7 whole months.
And mine, as soon as he gets home from war, he grabs his shield and buggers off again.
That's you.
And I'm Lysistrata now? The next one is Lysistrata.
Oh, for me it's Kalaniki, the next one.
Go figure. I'll read it. As for old flames and lovers, there are none left. And since Miletians went against us, I've not seen a decent 8-inch dildo. Yes, it's just leather, but it helps us out. So would you be willing if I found a way to work with me to make this fighting end?
It's a 6-inch dildo, but never mind. Lysistrata, well, if I could devise a plan to end the war, would you be ready to join me?
By the twin gods, yes, even if in just one day I had to pawn this dress and drain my purse.
Marini, as for me, I'd even cut myself in two like a flounder and donate half to the cause.
I'd climb up to the top of Tegetes to get a glimpse of peace. There's a footnote.
The tallest peak in Laconia.
Okay.
Here goes, then. No need to beat around the bush. Ladies, if we're going to force the men to make peace, we're going to have to give up.
Give up what? Tell us.
You'll do it, then.
Of course we'll do it, even if we have to die too.
All right. We're going to have to give up the prick. Why are you turning away from me? Where are you going? Why are you all pursing your lips and shaking your heads? What means your altered color and tearful droppings? Will you do it or not? What are you waiting for?
I won't do it, so let the war drag on.
Marini, me too, by Zeus, let the war drag on. This from you, Mrs. Flounder? Weren't you saying just a moment ago that you'd cut yourself in half?
Ask what you like, but not that. If I had to, I'd be willing to walk through fire sooner than giving up screwing. There's nothing like it, dear Lysistrata.
And what about you?
I'd choose the fire too.
Lysistrata, oh, what a low and horny race are we. No wonder tragedies get written about us. We're nothing but Poseidon and a top. Footnote, in a myth twice dramatized by Sophocles, Tyro was seduced by the god Poseidon, disguised as her lover, and exposed the resulting twin boys in a tub by the river. But my dear Spartan, if you alone would side with me, we might still salvage the plan. Give me your vote.
By the twin gods, it's hard for women to sleep all by themselves without a throbbing cock, but we must try. We've got to have peace.
You're an absolute dear, and the only real woman here.
If we really do give up, what you say? I hope it never happens. Would doing that make peace more likely?
Absolutely, by the two goddesses. If we sat around at home all made up and walked past them wearing only our diaphanous underwear, with our pubes plucked in a neat triangle and our husbands got hard and hunkered to ball us, but we didn't go near them and kept away, they'd sue for peace, and pretty quick. You can count on that.
Yes, just like they say, when Menelaus saw Helen's naked tits, he dropped his sword. But my friend, what if men ignore us?
It says Helen's melons in my translation. I bet Helen's melons. As Heraclitus said, skin the skinned dog. And footnote, i.e. use a dildo. The comic poet Heraclitus was an older contemporary of Aristophanes. Ancient scholars could not locate this quotation.
But fake penises aren't any use at all. What if they grab us and haul us by force into the bedroom?
Hold onto the door.
And if they beat us?
Then submit, but disagreeably. Men get no pleasure in sex when they have to force you, and make them suffer in other ways as well. Don't worry, they'll soon give in. No husband can have a happy life if his wife doesn't want him to.
Well, if you two think it's good, we do too. I'm sure we can persuade our men to work for a just peace and everything. No tricks. But how you'll convince the Athenian mob? They're mad for war.
Don't worry, we'll handle the persuasion on our side.
I don't think so. Not while they have triremes under sail and that huge treasure stashed away where your goddess makes her home.
Yeah, the Athena on the Acropolis is mentioned. No, that's also been well provided for. We're going to occupy the Acropolis this very day. The older women are assigned that part, while we are working out our agreement.
You've got it all worked out. Oh.
Down here, they'll occupy the Acropolis pretending to be up here for sacrifice, up there for a sacrifice.
Okay. You've got it all worked out. What you say sounds good. All right, Lampedo. Let's swear an oath to ask as quickly as we can. That way, we'll be united. Recite the oath.
Why not ratify them immediately, Lampedo, by taking an oath so that the terms will be unbreakable? It was Lysistrata, sorry.
Yeah, you're right. I read you. Recite the oath. Then we'll all swear to it.
Well said. Where's the Scythian girl? A Scythian girl comes out of the scene building with a shield. What are you gawking at? Put that shield down in front of us. No, the other way, and someone give me the severings.
Lysistrata, what sort of oath is this? What we're going to swear?
What kind? Yeah. The kind they say Aeschylus once had people swear slaughtering an animal over a shield.
You can't, Lysistrata, not on a shield. You can't swear an oath for peace on that.
Then what kind of oath will it be?
Let's get a stallion, a white one, and then offer up its guts.
A costly and exotic sacrifice, perhaps recalling the oath taken by Helen's suitors. And that's the footnote. White stallion? Get serious.
Then how will we make it our oath?
If you'd like to know, I can certainly tell you. We put a big black wine cup hollow up right here. We slaughter a magnum of Thasian wine into it, and we swear not to pour any water into the cup.
Now, if you ask me, that's a super oath.
Somebody go inside and fetch a cup and magnum. The Scythian girl takes the shield inside and returns with a huge wine bottle and a cup. Myrrhine, dearest ladies, what a jumbo jug.
Look, dear ladies, at this splendid bowl. Just touching this gives instant pleasure.
Hands off. Now all join me in laying hands upon this boar. Mistress Persuasion and Cup of Fellowship, graciously receive this sacrifice from the women. She opens the bottle and pours wine into the cup.
Such healthy blood spurts out, so beautiful. By Castor, that's a mighty pleasant smell. Ladies,
Myrrhine,
oh, go ahead.
ladies, let me be the first to take the oath.
No, my Aphrodite, no, not unless your lot is drawn.
All of you lay your hands upon the cup. You too, Lampito. Now, one of you, on behalf of you all, must repeat after me the terms of the oath, and the rest of you will then swear to abide by them. No man of any kind, lover or husband,
No man, no husband, and no lover
shall approach me with a hard-on. Speak up.
I will get near me with a stiff prick. Oh, Lysistrata, my knees are getting weak.
At home in celibacy shall I pass my life?
At home, I'll live completely without sex.
You're wearing a saffron dress and all dolled up.
Wearing saffron silks with lots of makeup.
It literally says the same thing.
Yeah.
But we have different translations. That's funny. So that my husband will get as hot as a volcano for me.
To make my man as horny as I can. Man, your translation is way more colorful.
Yeah. Never willingly shall I surrender to my husband.
If against my will he takes me by force.
If he should use force to force me against my will, I think that was strange.
Yeah, that translation was weird. I'll be a lousy lay, not move a limb.
Yeah, now it's the wrong way around. So my translation says, I will submit coldly and not move my hips. And the next one is, I will not raise my Persian slippers toward.
I'll not raise my slippers up towards the roof.
I won't crouch down like the lioness on a cheese grater.
Nor crouch down like a lioness on all fours.
If I live up to these vows, may I drink from this cup?
If I do all this, then I may drink this wine.
But if I break them, may the cup be full of water.
And if I fail, may this glass fill with water.
I swear you one and all.
We do.
So swear we. There we go. All right then. I'll consecrate the cup. She takes a long drink.
Just your share, my dear. So we all stay firm friends. A sound of shouting is heard from off stage. What's that noise?
It's just as I was telling you before. The women have occupied the Acropolis and the goddess temple. Now, Lampito, you be off and see to your end of the bargain. But leave these women here with us as hostages.
Don't you think the men will band together and march against us, and quickly too? Did I cut you off?
I'm not. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it says exit Lampito, and then it says, meanwhile, let's go inside with the other women on the Acropolis and help bar the gates. And then you say that. And then Lysistrata, I'm not worried about them. They can't come against us with enough threats or fire to get these gates open, except on the terms we've agreed on.
Yes, by Aphrodite, that's right. If not, we'll be labeled the weak and gutless woman. The woman enter... Yeah, go ahead.
All exit into the central door of the seen building, which henceforth represents the Acropolis gates. Enter men's chorus, elderly and poorly dressed. Each dancer carries a pair of logs, an unlit torch, and a bucket of live coals.
Okay. I'll read the chorus of old men.
Okay. Men's leader.
Oh, man.
Onward, Draces, or Draces. This name given to members of this semi-chorus are generic for old men. Okay. Lead the way, even if your shoulder does ache from totting such a heavy load of green olive wood.
Alas, so many unexpected things take place in a long life. Oh, Strimadorus, who'd ever think they'd hear such news about our woman? The ones we fed in our homes are truly bad. The sacred statue is in their hands. They've seized my own Acropolis and blocked the doors with bolts and bars.
Let's hurry to the Acropolis, Philogus, full speed ahead, so we can lay these logs in a circle around all the women who have instigated or abetted this business. Let's erect a single pyre and incinerate them with all our hands, all of them on a single vote, starting with Lacon's wife, which is because Lacon's wife had a reputation for promiscuity. The men imagine, wrongly, that she must be the ringleader. Her husband and their son, Autolycus, characters in the Xenophon Symposium, were also notorious for high living.
They won't be making fun of me, by Demeter, not while I'm still alive. That man, Cleomenes, who was the first to take our citadel, went back unharmed. Snorting Spartan pride, he went away. Once he handed me his weapon, wearing a real tiny little cloak, hungry, filthy, and with his hairy face. He'd gone 6 years without a bath. That's how I fiercely hemmed him in. Our men in ranks of 17, we even slept before the gates. So with these foes of all the gods, and of Euripides as well, will I not check their insolence? If I do not, then let my trophies all disappear from Marathon. The rest of the journey I have to make is uphill to the Acropolis. We must move fast. But how do we haul this wood up there without a donkey? This pair of logs makes my shoulders sore. But still, we've got to soldier on, giving our fire air to breath. It may go out when I'm not looking, just as I reach my journey's end. They blow on the coals, so keep them alight. Thus, the smoke comes blowing up in their face. The old men fall back and coughing and rubbing their eyes. Oh, the smoke! Lord Hercules, how savagely it jumped out from the pot right into my face and bit my eyes like a raving bitch. It works just like a Lemnian fire, or else it wouldn't use its teeth to feed on fluids in my eye. We need to hurry to the citadel and save the goddess. If not now, oh lackeys, when should we help her out? There's a footnote. Can you read the footnote? I don't know what it says. I should finish. When should we help her out? The men blow on the coals again and are again overpowered by the smoke. Damn and blast this smoke. Go ahead.
This fire's awake by the grace of the gods, and plenty lively too. Let's place our logs right here, then dip our torches into the buckets, And when they're lighted, we'll charge the gates like rams. If the women don't unbolt the gates so that when we invite their surrender, we'll set the portals afire and smoke them into submission. Very well, let's put the logs down. Phew, that's smoke. Would any of the generals at Samos care to help us with this wood? Laying down the logs. These have finally stopped crushing my back. Now it's your job, Bucket, to rouse your coals to flame and thus supply me. Step 1, with a lighted torch. Lady, but wait a second, there's a footnote. I'm not going to read it.
Okay. I'll read the ladies. Ladies, I think I see some flames and smoke, as if a fire was burning. We'd better hurry. And I'll read the chorus.
It's not finished, sorry.
Oh, you weren't finished?
Victory. Yeah. Be our ally helps us win a trophy over the women on the Acropolis and their present audacity. Enter the women's chorus on the run. Its members are nicely dressed and carry water pitchers on their heads. Wait a second. Yeah, you can continue. You can repeat what you just said, women's leader.
Okay, my bad. Ladies, I think I see some flames and smoke, as if a fire was burning. We'd better hurry.
Fly, fly, Nikodiki. The women's names, like the men's, are apparently generic. Footnote. Before Calipki and Cretilla go up in flames, fanned all round by nasty winds, and old men who mean death, I'm filled with dread. Am I too late to help? I've just come from the well with a pitcher. I could hardly fill it in the dim light of dawn, in the throng and crash and clatter of pots, fighting the elbows of housemaids and branded slaves zealously. I hoisted it onto my head, and to aid the women, my fellow citizens, faced with fire. Here I am with water. I've heard that some frantic old men are on the loose, totting logs up to the Acropolis, about 3 talents worth, around £175, a comic exaggeration. Like stokers at the public bathhouse, screaming the direst threats that we've got to burn these horrible women to charcoal. Goddess, may I never see these women aflame, but rather see them rescue from war and madness Greece and their fellow countrymen. For to that end, golden-crested guardian of the citadel, they receive your shrine, and I invite you to be our ally. Genea, and if any man among them sets it afire, to be there with water. Finished.
The old men have lit their torches and are about to move against the Acropolis. The old women are blocking the way. And then the leader of the women chorus says, hold on, ladies. What's this I see? Men, dirty old men, hard at work, honest types, useful, God-fearing men, could never do the things you do. Go ahead.
Wait. Oh, yeah. It's a men's leader.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's leader of the men's chorus next.
This here's a complication we didn't count on facing. This swarm of women outside the gates is here to help the others.
So we make you afraid? Does it look like there's a huge crowd of us? You're seeing such a fraction of our size. There are thousands more.
Phaedrias, are we going to let these women jabber on? Why hasn't somebody busted a log over their heads?
Let's put our water jugs down on the ground in case they want to lay their hands on us. Down there, they won't get in our way. The old woman set their water jugs down.
By God, if someone had soaked them in the mouth a couple of times like Bupalus, a Chian sculptor vilified by the 6th century Iambic poet Hipponax, they wouldn't be making any noise.
Come on then, strike me. I'm here. I'm waiting. No other bitch will ever grab your balls.
If you don't shut up, I'll knock you right out of your old hide.
Try coming up and touching, Stratilius, with your fingertips.
What if I give you the 1-2 punch? Got anything scary to counter with?
With my teeth, I'll rip out your lungs and your guts.
No poet's wiser than Euripides, as he says, no beast exists so shameless as womankind.
Come on then, Rheodippe. Let's pick up our water jugs. And the old woman pick up their water jugs again.
Why are you here with water, you witch?
And why are you bringing fire, you old corpse? Do you intend to set yourself aflame?
Me, I'm here to build a pyre and burn up your friends.
And I'm here to douse your fire.
You put out my fire?
Why, yes, I will. You'll see.
I think I might barbecue you on the spot with this torch of mine.
Well, get yourself some soap. I'm going to give you a bath.
You give me a bath, you rotten crone?
Yes, it will be just like your wedding night.
Listen to her insolence.
I'm a free woman.
I'll put a stop to your bellowing.
You don't judge these things.
Footnote, jury service, for which a small stipend was paid by the polis, was popular with impecunious old men. Torch her hair.
Get to work, Achelios. She throws her jar of water over the leader of the men's chorus, and following the leader's example, the woman throw water all over the old men. Was that hot enough? The woman continued to throw water on the old men.
Hot? Stop it. What do you think you're doing?
I'm watering you to make you bloom.
But I'm already dried out from shivering.
Well, you've got your fire. Warm yourself up. A magistrate enters with an armed escort of 4 public guards and slaves with crossbars and some attendant soldiers.
You should read the magistrate, I think.
Okay. Has not our woman's lewdness shown itself in how they beat their drums for Sabazius, that god of excess, or in their rooftops shed tears for Adonis? That's what I heard one time in our assembly. Demonstrates what a stupid man he is. What was arguing that we should sail to Sicily. Meanwhile, his wife was dancing around and screaming. Alas, Adonis, while Demonstrates, I'm gonna go with Demonstrates, talked, saying we should levy soldiers from Zacynthus. The woman was on the rooftop getting drunk and yelling out, "Weep for Adonis, weep!" But he kept on forcing his opinion through that mad, brutal ox, whom the gods despise. That's just the kind of loose, degenerate stuff that comes from women.
Indicating the women's chorus, save your breath till you hear about their atrocities. They've committed every outrage, even doused us with those pitchers. Now we get to shake water out of our clothes as if we'd peed in them.
By Poseidon, god of the salt seas, it serves you right. We men ourselves share in the blame for this. We teach our wives their free and easy life, and so intrigues come flowering out from them. Here's what we tell some working artisan. Oh, goldsmith, about that necklace I bought here. Last night my wife was dancing and the bolt slipped from its hole. I have to take a boat to Salamis. If you've got time tonight, you could visit her with that tool of yours and fix the way the bolt sits in her hole. Another man goes to the shoemaker, a strapping lad with an enormous prick, and says, "Oh, shoemaker, a sandal strap is pitching my wife's tender little toe. Could you come at noon and rub her strap? Stretch it really wide." That's the sort of thing that leads to all this trouble? Look at me, a magistrate in charge of finding oars, and thus in need of money now. These women have shut the treasury doors to keep me out, but standing here's no use. He calls out to his slaves, bring the crowbars. I'll stop these women's insolence myself. He turns to the armed guards he has brought with him. What are you gaping at, you idiot? And you, what are you looking at? Why are you doing nothing, just staring around, looking for a tavern? Try these crowbars to the doors then, and pry them open. Come, I'll work to force them with you.
Emerging from the gates, Lysistrata, don't be doing any jimmying. I'm coming out on my very own. Why do you need crowbars? It's not crowbars you need, but rather brains and sense.
Is that so, you slut? Where's the officer? Seize that woman, tie her hands.
If he so much as touches me with his fingertip, mere public servant that he is, so help me Artemis, he'll go home crying.
To the first armed guard. Are you scared of her? Grab her around the waist. You there, help him out and tie her up.
Enter first old women from the gate. First old woman, if you so much as lay hands on her, so help me Pandrosos, one of the daughters of the mythical king Kekrops and worshipped as a heroine in the Acropolis. I'll beat the shit out of you.
Now look at the mess you've made. Where is he? That other officer? The magistrate turns to a third armed officer. Tie up this one first. The one who's got such a dirty mouth.
Enter second old woman from the gate. Second old woman, if you raise your fingertip to her, so help me out, Lady of Light. Footnote, a title of Hecate, a popular women's goddess associated with the moon and with the birth and rearing of children. Her epithet here puns on I or I salve, salve. You will be begging for an eye cup.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a narration. It says this officer shits his pants and runs off. The magistrate turns to a fourth officer. Who's this here? Arrest her. I'll put a stop to all women in this demonstration. And then
enter the third woman from the gates. If you come near her, so help. Wait, did it change the? Yeah, it is. If you come near her, so help me Tauropolis. Footnote. Under this title, Artemis had an East Attic cult that featured all-night ceremonies. I'll rip out your hair till you scream.
And the fourth officer shits his pants and runs off in terror. This is getting bad. There's no officers left. We can't let ourselves be beaten back by women. Come on then, you Scythians. Form up your ranks. Then charge. Go at them.
By the two goddesses, you'll soon discover that we also have 4 squadrons of fully armed combat women waiting inside.
Come on then, Scythians. Twist their arms behind them.
Women of the reserve, come out double time. Enter, old women. Forward, you spawn of the marketplace, you soup and vegetable mongers. Forward, you landladies, you hawkers of garlic and bread. Tackle them, hit them, smash them, call them names, the nastier the better. That's enough. Withdraw, don't strip the bodies. Policemen run away howling. Old women enter the Acropolis.
The next line is Lysistrata again.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Well, what did you expect?
Oh,
is that
no? It's me. I'm sorry. I realize it goes from Lysistrata to Lysistrata, and it confused me. I'll read my line. It says, magistrate says, disaster. My guards have acted quite disgracefully.
Well, what did you expect? Did you think you were going up against a bunch of slave girls? Or did you think women lack go?
Spirit, by Apollo, yes. If they're near any man who's got some wine.
You've little to show for all your talk, magistrate of this country. What's the point of fighting a battle of words with beasts like these? Don't you comprehend the kind of bath they've given us just now, when we were still in our clothes and without soap to boot? Well, and then there's women's leader.
Yeah.
Well, sir, you shouldn't lift your hand against your neighbors just any time you feel like it. If you do, you're going to end up with a black eye. You see, I'd rather be sitting modestly at home like a maiden, bothering no one here, stirring not a single blade of grass. But if anyone annoys me and riffles my nest, they'll find a wasp inside.
And the chorus of old men says, "O Zeus, however will we find a way to deal with these wild beasts? What's going on is no longer something we can bear, but we must question them and find out why they are so angry with us, why they wish to seize the citadel of Cranaeus, the holy ground where people do not go on the great rock of the Acropolis."
Cranaeus is a king of Attica. Of Athens.
Mhm.
Men's leader. Now
Yes.
question her and don't give in. Cross-examine everything she says. It's scandalous to let this sort of behavior go unchallenged.
Well then, by God, first of all, I'd like to know the reason why you plan to use these barriers here to barricade our citadel.
To keep the money safe and to keep you from using it to finance the war.
Is it money that's the cause of war?
Yeah, and that's why everything else got messed up too. It was for opportunities to steal that Pysander and the others who aimed to hold office were always fomenting some kind of commotion. So let them keep fomenting to their heart's content. They'll be withdrawing no more money from this place.
And what will you do?
You're asking me that? We'll manage it for you.
You mean you're going to manage all the money?
That's what's so strange about that. Don't we manage the household finances for you already?
Oh, that's not the same.
How so?
Well, we need the cash to carry on the war.
But there shouldn't even be a war.
But without the war, how will we save ourselves?
We'll protect you.
You?
Yes, us.
This is outrageous.
You'll be protected whether you like it or not.
What you're saying is madness.
Angry are you? It still must be done.
By Demeter, this is against the law.
You must be saved, dear fellow.
And if I don't agree?
All the more so.
Is it true you're really going to deal with peace and war?
We'll tell you.
Then speak fast, or else you may will start to cry, with a threatening gesture.
Listen then. Yeah, listen then and try to control your fists.
I can't. I find it difficult to hold my temper.
Then you're the one who'll get hurt. First old woman.
Okay, and then the magistrate says, "Shut up, you're croaking, you old bag." And then I turn to Lysistrata. "You, talk to me."
Gladly. Before now, and for quite some time, we maintained our decorum and suffered in silence whatever you men did, because you wouldn't let us make a sound. But you weren't exactly all we could ask for. No, we knew only too well that what you were up to, and many a time we'd hear in our homes about a bad decision you'd made in some great issue of state. Then, masking the pain in our hearts, we'd put on a smile and ask you, how did the assembly go today? Any decision about a rider to the peace treaty? And my husband would say, what's that to you? Shut up. And I'd shut up. First old woman, I wouldn't have shut up.
You'd have been smacked if you hadn't been quiet and held your tongue.
Well, that's why I did shut up then. But later on we began to hear even worse decisions you'd made. And then we would ask, husband, how come you're handling this so stupidly? And right away he'd glare at me and tell me to get back to my sewing if I didn't want major damage to my head. War shall be the business of menfolk, unquote.
Yes, by God, that man spoke the truth.
How could he be right, you sorry fool, when we were forbidden to offer advice, even when your policy was wrong? But then, when we began to hear you in the streets openly crying, there isn't a man left in the land, and someone else saying, God knows there isn't not a one. After that, we women decided to lose no more time, and to band together to save Greece. What was the point of waiting any longer? So, if you're ready to listen in your turn, so as we give you good advice, and to shut up as we had to, we can put you back on the right track.
You'll save us? What you're saying is madness. I'm not going to put up with it.
Shut up.
Should I shut up? For you? You witch. Someone with a scarf around her head. I'd sooner die.
If the veil is a problem for you, here, take mine. It's yours. Put it on your head and then shut up. First old woman, and take this sewing basket too. Lysistrata, now hitch up your clothes and start sewing. Chew some beans while you work. War shall be the business of women folk. Women's leader, because yourselves women away from those pitches, it's our turn to pitch in with a little help from our friends.
And the woman's chorus says, with dancing, I'll never tire. Weariness won't grip my knees or wear me out. In everything, I'll strive to match the excellence of these women here. In nature, wisdom, boldness, charm, and prudent virtue in the way they love their country.
Now most valiant of prickly mummies and spiky grannies, attack furiously and don't go mushy. You're still running with the wind. Lysistrata, if Eros of the sweet soul and Cyprian Aphrodite imbue our thighs and breasts with desire, and infect the men with sensuous rigidity and bouts of trunchionitis, then I believe all Greece will one day call us disbanders of battles. Lysimachai.
And the magistrate says, what will you do?
If, to begin with, we can stop people from going to the market fully armed and acting crazy. First old woman, Aphian Aphrodite be praised, Lysistrata, at this very moment, all around the market, in the pottery shops and the grocery stores, they're walking around in arms like chirobants, Eastern divinities associated with ecstatic dancing and a popular way to refer to lunatics.
Yes, that's right. It's what brave men should do.
Lysistrata, but it's totally ridiculous when a man with a Gorgon blazoned shield goes shopping for sardines. First old woman, amen. I saw a long-haired fellow, a cavalry captain on horseback, buying porridge from an old woman and packing it into his brass hat. Another one, a Thracian, was shaking his shield and spear like Tereus. Thracian mercenaries struck Athenians as wild and uncivilized. He scared the fig lady out of her wits and gulped down the ripe ones.
And
yeah, that's you.
And how will you find the power to stop so many violent disturbances throughout our states and then resolve them?
Very easily.
But how? Explain.
Taking the sewing basket from the magistrate and using its contents to illustrate, it's rather like a ball of yarn when it gets tangled up. We hold it this way and carefully wind out the strands on our spindles. Now this way, now that way. That's how we'll wind up this war. And we're allowed, unsnarling it by sending embassies, now this way, now that way.
You're an idiot. Do you really think you can end such fearful acts with spindles, spools, and wool?
I do think so, and if you had any brains, you'd handle all the polis business the way we handle our wool.
Now, what does that mean? Tell me.
Imagine the polis as a fleece just shorn. First, put it in a bath and wash out all the sheep dung. Spread it on a bed and beat out the riffraff with a stick, and pluck out the thorns. As for those who clump and knot themselves together to snag government positions, card them out and pluck off their heads. Next, card the wool into a sewing basket of unity and goodwill, mixing in everyone. The resident aliens and any other foreigners who's your friend and anyone who owes money to the people's treasury. Mix them in there too. And oh yes, the cities that are colonies of this land, imagine them as flocks of your fleece, each one lying apart from the others. So take all these flocks and bring them together here, joining them and all and making one big bobbin. And from this weave a fine new cloak for the people.
So woman beat wool and roll it into balls. Isn't that wonderful? That doesn't mean they bear any part of what goes on in war.
None? You monster. We bear more than our fair share. In the first place, by giving birth to sons and sending them off to the army.
All right, be quiet. Don't remind me of all that.
Then when we ought to be having fun and enjoying our bloom of youth, we sleep alone because of the campaigns. And to say no more about our own case, it pains me to think of the maidens growing old in their rooms.
And don't men get old?
That's quite a different story. When a man comes home, he can quickly find a girl to marry, even if he's a grey-beard. But a woman's prime is brief. If she doesn't seize it, no one wants to marry her, and she sits at home looking for good omens. Footnote, that is, omens foretelling marriage.
But an old man who can still get his prick erect. And then,
why don't you just drop dead? Here's a grave site. Buy a coffin. I'll start kneading you a honey cake. Removing her garland. Use these for a wreath. First older woman, handing him ribbons. You can have these from me. Second old woman, and this crown from me, Lysistrata. All set. Need anything else? Get on the boat then. Charon is calling your name, and you're holding him up. Charon ferried dead souls across the river Styx into the underworld.
I don't have time to put up with these insults. I'll go to the other magistrates, by God, and show myself exactly as I am. The magistrate exits with his attending slaves.
I hope you won't complain about the funeral we gave you. I tell you what, the day after tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we'll perform the third day offerings at your grave. Lysistrata and old women exit into the Acropolis. Men's leader. No free man should be asleep now. Let's strive for action, men, and meet this emergency. They remove their jackets.
In my translation, it says, taking almost all their clothes off, I'll keep going. And it says, the chorus of old men say, and I especially smelled some gas, the tyrant rule of Hippias. I've a great fear that Spartan men collected here with Cleisthenes have with their trickery stirred up these women, whom the gods all hate, to seize the treasure and our pay, the funds I need to live my way. It's terrible these women here are thinking about politics and prattling on about bronze spears. They're women and making peace on our behalf with Spartan types, women whom I don't trust not any more than gaping wolves. In this affair, those men are weaving plots for us so they can bring back tyranny. But me, I won't give any ground, not to a tyrant. I'll stand guard from now on, carrying a sword inside my myrtle bow. I'll march with weapons in the marketplace with Aristogeton at my side. I'll stand with him. And now it's time to. I struck those hostile to God's law. I struck those hostile to God's law, and hit that old hag on his jaw, on the jaw. The old men moved to threaten the old woman with their fists.
Women's leader. Just try it, and your own mummy won't recognize you when you get home. Come on, fellow hags. Let's start by putting these jackets on the ground. They remove their jacket.
All you fellow citizens will start to give the city good advice, and rightly, since it raised us splendidly, so we lived very well. At 7 years old, I carried sacred vessels, and at 10, I poured barley from Athena's shrine. Later, as I shed my yellow dress for the rites of Baronian Artemis. And once I was a lovely full-grown girl. I wore strings of figs around my neck and was one of those who carried baskets. So I am indebted to the city. Why not pay it back with good advice? I was born a woman, but don't hold that against me if I introduce a plan to make our present situation better. For I make contributions to the states. I give birth to men. You miserable old farts, you contribute nothing. That pile of cash which we collected from the Persian wars, you squandered. You don't pay any taxes. What's more, the way you act so stupidly endangered all of us. What do you say? Don't get riled up. I'll take this filthy shoe and smack you one right on the jaw. And the chorus of old men say, is this not getting way too insolent? I think it's better if we paid them back. We have to fight this out. So anyone who's got the balls enough to be a man, take off your clothes so we can smell the way we should, like men. We should strip. It's not right to keep ourselves wrapped up. We're the ones who got the white feet. We marched to Lysidrian years ago, and now let's stand erect again, aroused in our whole body, shaking off our old age. The old men take off their remaining clothes, hold up their shriveled phalluses, and threaten the woman. If one of us gives them the slightest chance, there's nothing these women won't continue trying to work on. Building fighting ships, attacking us at sea like Artemisia. If they switch to horses, I draw the line. For women are the best at riding bareback. Their shapely arse do a lovely job. They don't slip off when grinding at a gallop. Just look at how Mycon painted Amazons, fighting men on horsebacks, hand to hand. So we must take a piece of wood with holes and fit a yoke on them around their neck. And then the chorus of old women say, by the two goddesses, if you get me roused up, I'll let my wild sow's passion loose and make you yell to all the people here today how I'm removing all your hair.
Okay, there was a series of footnotes a bit earlier on that I wanted to go through.
Yeah, I feel like I was missing something because I wasn't understanding the text. Yeah, go ahead.
The Aerephoroi were two girls who spent a year living on the Acropolis serving Athena, Polias, principally by weaving her robe and carrying it in the Panathenaic procession, the most prestigious of all processions. The girls, selected by the assembly and the king Archon, were between 7 and 11 years old and came only from the noblest Athenian families. Well-born girls who served a goddess, probably Demeter at Eleusis, by grinding ritual cakes were mentioned. Then the Bauronia, open to select girls 5 to 10 years old, culminated in the ritual of the bears, Arcteia, in which at some point the girls removed a saffron-dyed robe and performed, as vase paintings show, naked. Maiden basket bearers were a feature of many processions. The figs symbolized fertility. The climactic placement here suggests the Panathenea. These were one of the series. Then, no. So where were you? Do you have the number of the verse?
Yeah, I was on 820.
Okay.
The last thing I read was Chorus of Old Woman, and then the next thing is starts back with the leader of the women's chorus.
Quickly, women, let's take off our shirts too, is it that? Because we've got to smell like women and mad enough to bite. Is that women's leader?
Yeah, that's it.
Remove their shirts. They remove their shirts.
Mm-hmm. Now let any man step out against me. He won't be eating garlic anymore, and no black beans. Just say something nasty. I'm so boiling mad, I'll treat you with the same way the beetle did the eagle, and smash your eggs.
In Aesop's Fable 3, the beetle avenges a wrong done it by an eagle by breaking the eagle's eggs. Oh. These had been placed in Zeus's lap for safekeeping, but when the beetle dropped dung into Zeus's lap, he unthinkingly jumped up and spilled the eggs. Here, there is an implied threat to the men's testicles.
Okay, coming up. There's a bunch of back and forth between the leader of the women's chorus and the LYSISTRATA. So I can read leader of the women's chorus.
Yeah, that would be sensible.
Not that I give a damn for you, not while I have Lampedo here. Ismenia too, my young Theban friend. You have no power, not even with 7 times as many votes. You're such a miserable old man. Even those who are your neighbors find you hateful. Just yesterday, for the feast of Hecate, I planned a party, so I asked my neighbors in Boeotia for one of their companions, a lovely girl. She was, for my children, a splendid pot of eels. But they replied, they couldn't send it because you'd passed another one of your decrees. It doesn't seem you'll stop voting in these laws, not before someone takes your leg, carries you off, and throws you out. Lysistrata comes out from the Acropolis, looking very worried and angry. The leader of the women's chorus addresses her. Here's our glorious leader, who does the planning for this enterprise. Why have you come here, outside the building, with such a sad expression on your face?
The deeds of ignoble women and the female heart do make me pace dispirited to and fro.
What are you saying, and what do you mean?
Is true, too true.
What's wrong? You can tell us. Where are your friends?
'Tis shame to say, and grief to leave unsaid.
Don't hide from me. Bad news affecting all of us.
The story in briefest compass. We need a fuck.
Oh, Zeus.
Why rend the air for Zeus, anyway? That's the way it is. The truth is, I can't keep them away from their husbands any longer. They're running off in all directions. The first one I caught was over there by Pan's grotto. The grotto on the northern slope of the Acropolis was where Apollo raped the Athenian princess Creusa. By the resulting child, Ion became the ancestor of the Ionian peoples. Excavating the hole. Yet another was trying to escape the clambering down a pulley cable. And yesterday another one mounted a sparrow. Sparrows were emblematic of sexual appetite and eaten as aphrodisiacs, and sparrow was a slang term for both penis and...
Mm-hmm. I think, am I lost? No, I'm not lost. I didn't see anything about a sparrow, so maybe I am lost. Let's go back a little bit. The last thing that you were supposed to read was, "Here's one of them on her way right now." Where do you think you're going?
Where was that?
That was at 870. Do you see that?
Did I finish or not?
I don't think you did. Yeah.
Okay. So did you hear the sparrow?
No, there's nothing about a sparrow in my text. That's why I'm confused. There's talk about a giant bird, but it keeps going after that. It says, "I grabbed her hair. They're all inventing reasons to go home. A woman comes out of the citadel trying to sneak off. Here's one of them now on their way. Where do you think you're going?" And that's what yours ended with in my translation. So.
And you heard that, what I said, then I read that aloud.
Oh, you said that? Oh, I guess I'm just not paying attention.
You didn't. Okay, you did. So I'm gonna read the whole Lysistrata thing if you want to. Again.
Okay, yeah, you could read the Lysistrata line again. That's fine.
Yeah. Why rend the air for Zeus? Anyway, that's the way it is. The truth is, I can't keep them away from their husbands any longer. They're running off in all directions. The first one I caught was over there, by Pan's grotto. This grotto, on the northern slope of the Acropolis, was where Apollo raped the Athenian princess Croza. The resulting child, Ion, became the ancestor of the Ionian peoples. Excavating the hole. Yet another was trying to escape the clambering down a pulley cable. By clambering down a pulley cable. And yesterday another one mounted a sparrow. Sparrows were emblematic of sexual appetite and eaten as aphrodisiacs, and sparrow was a slang term for both penis and vagina. And was about to fly off to Orsilochus's house when I pulled her off by her hair. They're coming up with every kind of excuse to go home. Then you can... I skip
okay.
This. Go on.
I see. Okay, I'll start. Woman A. Who, me? I want to go back home inside the house. I've got bolts of my Lysian cotton and worms are eating them.
Moths indeed. Get back inside.
I'll come back right away, by God. I just need to spread them on the bed.
Wait a second.
Yeah, it's okay. I can keep going.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Don't you spare anything or go anywhere.
But my wool will just go to waste.
If that's what it takes, second wife rushes from the Acropolis.
I'm such a fool. I've left my wretched flax back in my house unstripped.
Here's another one off to shuck her flax. March right back here.
By the goddess of light, I'll be right back. Once I've rubbed its skin.
No shucking. If you start doing it, some other wife will want to do the same.
Woman B dejected into the citadel. Woman C emerges from the citadel, looking very pregnant. Oh, sacred Alethea, goddess of birth, hold back my labor pains till I can find a place where I'm permitted to give birth. Yeah,
Don't quite
there's a footnote that says to have a child in a holy place like the Acropolis was considered a sacrilege.
What are you raving about?
It's my time. I'm going to have a child.
But you weren't pregnant yesterday.
Well, today I am. Send home Lysistrata, and quickly. I need my midwife.
What's the story? What's this thing you've got under there? It's hard.
A little boy.
By Aphrodite, it's obvious you've got something metallic and hollow under there. Let's have a look. Ridiculous girl. You're big with the scared sacred helmet, not with child.
Yes, and by God, I am.
Then what were you doing with this?
Well, in case I went into labor in the citadel, I could give birth right in the helm. Lay it in there like a nesting pigeon.
What kind of story is that? Excuses. It's quite obvious what's going on. You'll have to stay here till your helmet has its naming day.
Woman C, more women start sneaking out of the citadel. Woman D says, I skipped a piece, sorry. Woman D says, I can't get any sleep in the Acropolis, not since I saw that snake that guards the palace. And more women start sneaking out of the citadel. Nor can I. I'm dying from lack of sleep. Those wretched owls keep hooting all the time.
You nutty girls. Enough of your horror stories. I guess you do miss your husband. But do you think they don't miss you? They're spending some very rough nights. I assure you, just be patient, good ladies, and put up with this only a little bit longer. There's an oracle predicting victory for us, but only if we stick together. Produces a scroll. Here's the oracle right here.
Tell us what it is prophesied.
Be quiet then. Yea, when the swallows hole up in a single home, fleeing the hoopoes and leaving the phallus alone, then are their problems solved, and high thunderings use shall reverse what's up and what's down.
Women are going to lie on top of men?
But if the swallows begin to argue and fly away down from the citadel holy, all will say, no bird more disgustingly horny lives today.
That oracle is clear enough by God.
Then let's not wait when the going is tough, but let's go back inside, dear comrades. It would be a real shame if we betray the oracle. All exit into the Acropolis.
I'd like to tell you a tale, which I heard once when I was young, about Melanion, a lad who fled from marriage and then came into the wild. So he lived up in the hills. He wove some nets and hunted hares. He had a dog. Not once did he return back home. He hated women. They made him sick, and we are no less wise than he.
I'd like to kiss you, old thing.
You won't need onions to make you cry.
Lift a leg to kick you.
Down there, your pubic hair is too thick.
Well, my Ronides was bristly down there, and hairy asked to all his enemies. So too was Formion.
To you, I'd like to tell a tale. To answer your Melanion, there was a man called Timon once, a vagabond, the Furies' child. Wild thistles covered his whole face. He wandered off, filled up with spite, and always cursing evil types. But though he always hated men, those of you who are such rogues, women he always really loved.
How would you like punch in the womb? In the mouth. Is that the woman's leader? Yeah. Sorry. And then men's leader. No, you're really scaring me.
And the leader of the women's chorus says, "What if I kicked you with my toe?"
If you do, you'll be flashing your twat.
And then you'd see, although I'm old, it's not all matted down there, but singed by lamp and plucked with flare. Lysistrata appears on a balcony of the citadel, looking off in the distance. Other women come out after her.
Hooray! Ladies, come here quickly. Mithrini and several other wives join Lysistrata.
What's going on? Why are you shouting?
A man. I see a man coming this way, stricken in the grip of Aphrodite's mysterious powers. Lady Aphrodite, mistress of Cyprus, and Cythera, and Paphos, let the path that you've embarked on be upright.
Where is he? Whoever he is.
Try.
Oh yes, there he is, by God. Who is he?
Take a good look. Anyone recognize him?
Oh God.
Oh God, I do. And it's my own husband, Synesius. It's your job to roast him, to torture him, to bamboozle him, to love him and not to love him, and to give him anything he wants, except what you and our wine cup know about. Mithrini, don't you worry, I'll do that. Lysistrata, and I'll stick around to help you bamboozle and roast him. Now everyone get out of sight. Exit 1. Enter Genesius with Manis, who holds up a baby.
I'm in a dreadful way. It's all this throbbing and the strain I feel as if I'm stretched out on the rack.
Who goes there, poking up within our defense perimeter?
It's me.
A man?
Yes. Take a look at this.
In that case, clear out of here.
Who are you to tell me to get out?
The daytime sentry. Then in the gods' name, sorry.
Then by the gods, call Myrine. What did you call her? Myrine?
Myrine. Yeah.
Myrine. I'll just stick to that. But yeah, then by the gods, call Myrine for me.
Listen to him. Call Myrine. And who might you be?
Cyneas, her husband, from Paionidae.
Well, hello, darling. Among us, your name is hardly unknown or unmentioned. Your wife always has you on her lips. She'll be eating an egg or an apple, and she'll say, "This one's for Kinesius."
Lysistrata licks her fist obscenely. Oh my God.
Aphrodite, be my witness. And whenever the conversation turns to men, your wife speaks right up and says, compared with Kinesius, all the rest are trash.
Please, call her out.
Got anything for me?
Whatever you want, by God, I have this. Synesius waves his erection in front of Lysistra. I'll give you what I've got.
All right, I'll go down and call her for you. Lysistrata leaves the ramparts.
Hurry up. I've had no pleasure in life since she's been gone from home. I go out, but I'm in pain. To me, now everything seems empty. There's no joy in eating food. I'm just so horny. Lysistrata appears, dragging Myrine with her. Myrine is pretending to be reluctant.
Myrine, I love that man. I love him. But he doesn't want my love. Please don't make me go out to him.
Oh, my dear, my sweetest little Myrine, what are you doing? Come down here.
I'm positively not going down there.
If I ask you, won't you come down, Myrine?
You're asking me, But you don't really want me.
You don't think I want you? I'm absolutely dying for you.
Goodbye.
Hold on. You might want to hear our child. Can you call out something to your mama? Child. Mummy, mummy, mummy. Oh, I'm sorry. What's wrong with you? Don't you feel sorry for the boy? It's now 6 days since he has been washed or had some food.
Him I feel sorry for. Too bad his father doesn't care about him.
My lovely wife, come down here to the child. Think of the children.
How momentous is motherhood. I have to go down there. Marini disappears from the roof.
Marini starts coming down from the Acropolis, accentuating the movements of her hips as she goes. She seems to me to be much younger, easier on the eyes. She was acting like a shrew and haughty, but that just aroused my passion even more.
Enter Marini from the Acropolis gates. My sweetie, my bitty baby, that's got such a bad father. Let me give you a kiss, mummy's little dearest.
You dim-witted girl, what are you doing? Letting yourself be led on by these women, causing me grief and injuring yourself.
Don't you lay hands on me.
Inside our home, things are a mess. You've stopped doing anything.
It doesn't bother me.
I don't care your weaving is being picked apart by the hens.
Not a bit.
You don't care. You haven't honored holy Aphrodite by having sex, not for a long time now. So won't you come back?
I certainly will not. Not until you men agree to a settlement and stop the war.
Well, now, that's something I'll do when it seems all right.
All right, if that's what's decided, then I'll be coming home. But meanwhile, I've sworn to stay here.
Well, at least lie down with me a little while.
No, I won't. But I'm not saying I don't love you.
You'd like to? Then, my little Marini, lie down right here.
You must be joking. Right here in front of the baby?
No, by God. Aeneas turns towards the attendant. Manes, take the boy back home. The attendant Manes leaves with the child, returning home. All right, then. The lad's no longer in the way. Lie down.
But my dear, just where could a person do it?
Where? The cave's Pan's, an excellent place.
But how could I go back up to the Acropolis no longer pure?
You can wash yourself in the water clock. That would do the job.
Spring on the northwest slope of the Acropolis. You're telling me, dear, that I should break the oath I swore?
I'll deal with that. Don't worry about the oath.
All right then, let me fetch us a bed.
No, the ground will do.
Apollo, no. I wouldn't dream of letting you lie on the ground, no matter what kind of man you are. Marini goes into Pan's grotto.
Ah, my wife, she really loves me. That's so obvious.
Returning with a cup. There we are. Lie right down while I undress. But wait, yes, a mattress. Must go up, get one.
Why a mattress? I don't need that.
By Artemis, it's nasty on cords.
Give me a kiss. Right now.
There.
Marini goes back to the Acropolis to fetch the mattress. Oh my God, get back here quickly.
There we are, returning with a mattress. Lie back down and I'll get my clothes off. But wait, a pillow. You haven't got a pillow.
But I don't need a pillow.
But I do.
This cock of mine is just like Hercules. He's been denied his supper.
Returning with a pillar. Lift up now. Upsy daisy. There. Is that everything?
That's all we need. Come here, my treasure.
I'm just getting my breast band off. But remember, don't break your promise about a peace settlement.
Oh my god, may I die before that happens?
You don't have a blanket.
I don't need one, by God. I want to get laid.
Don't worry. That's just what you're going to get. I'll be back in a flash.
That woman's killing me with all the bedding.
Returning with a blanket. Get up.
But it's already up.
Want some scent?
No, by Apollo, not for me.
But I will. So help me Aphrodite, whether you like it or not.
Oh, great Lord Zeus, pour the perfume out.
Returning with a round bottle of perfume. Hold out your hand, take some, and rub it in.
Rubbing the perfume in. By Apollo, this stuff doesn't smell so sweet, not unless it's rubbed on thoroughly. No sexy smell.
Oh, silly me, I brought the Rhodian scent.
It's fine, just let it go, my darling.
What are you babbling about?
Damn the wretch who first came up with perfume. Myrene comes back from the Acropolis with another box of perfume.
Here, try this tube.
You've got this alabaster cock. Come lie down here, you tease. Don't go and fetch another thing for me.
That's what I'll do. So help me, Artemis. I'm just getting my booze off. But remember, darling, you're going to vote for peace. Myrene dashes into the Acropolis.
Oh, I'm planning to. That woman's going to kill me. She teased me, got me all inflamed, and then left. Alas, why suffer from such agony? Who can I screw? Why'd she betray me? The most beautiful woman of them all. Poor little cock, how can I care for you? Where's that Sinalopex? I'll pay him well to nurse this little fellow back to health.
Men's leader. Yes, frightful agony, you wretch, does rack the soul of one so sore bediggled. Sure, I do feel for you, alas. What kidney could you bear it? What soul, what balls, what loins, what crotch, thus stretched on the rack and never getting a morning fuck?
Oh, mighty Zeus, it's started throbbing once again.
And this is what she's done to you, you the detestable, revolting shrew.
No, by God, a loving girl, a sweet one, too.
Sweet, you say? She's vile. Vile.
All right, she's a tease, but, oh Zeus, I wish you'd sweep her up there in a great driving storm like dust in the air, whirl her around, then fall to the ground, and as she's carried down to earth one more time, let her fall right away on this pecker of mine. Enter the Spartan herald. He too has a giant erection, which he is trying to hide under his cloak.
Herald. Okay. Where be the Senate of Athens, or the Prytanes? I wish to tell them some news.
Are you a man or some phallic monster? Looking at the herald's erection.
What's that? Yeah. By the twain, I'm a herald, young gun, come from Sparta about the settlement.
If that's the case, why do you have a spear concealed in there?
I'm not, I swear.
Then why are you turning to one side? What's that thing there, sticking from your cloak? Has your journey made your groin inflamed?
Why, Castor, the man's crazy.
You rogue, you've got a hard-on.
I certainly do not. Don't be talking twaddle.
pointing at the herald's direction. Oh, then what's that?
A Spartan walking stick.
Oh, that's what it is. A Spartan walking stick. Let's have a chat. Tell me the truth. How are things going for you out there in Sparta?
All Sparta rises, and our allies all have hard-ons. We need Pelana.
On my translation it says we need a thrust in someone's rear. This trouble of yours, where did it come from? Was it from Pan? Question mark. What's Pan?
No, one who started it, I reckon, was Lampito, and then the other women in Sparta, altogether, as from a starting gate, excluded the men from their pork pies.
Okay. How are you doing?
We're hard up. We walk around town, hunched over, like men carrying lamps. The women won't let us even touch their cherries till all of us unanimously agree to make peace with the rest of Greece.
This matter is a female plot, a grand conspiracy affecting all of Greece. Now I understand. Return to Sparta as fast as you can. Tell them they must send out an ambassadors with full authority to deal for peace. I'll tell our leaders here to make a choice of ambassadors. I'll show them my prick.
I'll fly. Your advice is absolutely capital. Herald and Kinesias exit in opposite directions. Men's leader. No beast, nor even fire, is harder to battle than a woman, and no leopard is so ferocious.
The leader of the women's chorus. If you know that, then why wage war with me? You old scoundrel, we could be lasting friends.
Because I'll never stop hating women.
Whatever you want, but I don't much like to look at you like this without your clothes. It makes me realize how silly you are. Look, I'll come over and put your shirt on.
That's certainly no mean thing you've done. In fact, it was mean of me to take it off in anger before.
Now, at least you look like a man again, and people won't find you ridiculous. And you hadn't been so nasty to me. If you hadn't been so nasty to me, I'd grab that insect stuck in your eye and pull it out. It's still in there.
So that's what's been tormenting me. Here's a scraper. Please dig it out of my eye, then show to me when you've pulled it out, because it's really been biting my eye for quite some time.
The leader of the women's chorus takes the scraper and inspects the leader's eye. I'll do it. You men are born hard to please. My God, you are picked up by a monstrous insect. Have a look. That's a tricornithus bug.
It says trichorizian. Deem. It's a deem. Abutted a large marsh on the Bay of Marathon. Men's leader. You've certainly helped me out, because that thing's been digging wells in me for a long time, and now that it's out, my eyes are streaming copious tears.
I'll wipe it up for you. Though you're a scoundrel, I'll give you a kiss.
Don't kiss me.
I will, whether it's what you want or not. She kisses him.
The word of luck to you. Your natural sweet talkers, and that ancient adage is right on the mark and no mistake. But can't live with the pest or without the pest either. But now he'll make peace with you, I'll make peace with you, and never more mistreat you or suffer mistreatment from you. Now let's come together and begin our song.
You citizens were not inclined with any of you. You citizens, we're not inclined with any of you to be unkind. Just the reverse. Our words to you will be quite nice. We'll act well, too. For now, we've had enough bad news, so if a man or a woman here needs ready cash, give out a cheer, and take some mine, 2 or 3. Coins fill our purses. Coins fill our purses now, you see, and if we get a peace treaty, you take some money from the sack and keep it. You don't pay it back. I'm going to have a great shindig. I've got some soup. I'll kill a pig with friends of mine from Caristia. You'll eat fine and tender meat again. Come to my house this very day, but first wash all the dirt away. You and your kids, then walk on by. No need to ask a person why. Just come straight in as if my home was like your own. For all my at my place will shut the door right in your face. That was a cute.
Enter Spartan delegates with slaves. Chorus leader. Or you say the chorus leader.
Okay. Ah, here come the Spartan ambassadors, trailing their long beards. They've got something like a pig pen between their thighs. The Spartan ambassadors enter, moving with difficulty because of their enormous erections. Men of Sparta, first of all, our greetings. Tell us how you are. Why have you come?
What's the use of wasting words? It's plain to see how we're faring. They opened their cloaks.
Oh my, the crisis has grown more severe. It seems the strain is worse than ever.
Unspeakable. What can one say? Just let someone come and make peace for us on any terms he likes. Enter the Athenian delegates.
Well, now I see our ambassadors. They look just like our wrestling men, with their shirts sticking out around their bellies, or like athletic types who need to exercise to cure their sickness. I'll read the Athenian ambassador, I think. Yeah.
Who can tell us where Lysistrata is, because us men are present and palpably so. They open their cloaks.
They're clearly suffering from the same disease. How does it throb early in the morning?
Yes, and what's worse, we're worn absolutely raw by being in this condition. I mean, if someone doesn't reconcile us soon, there's no way we won't be fucking Cleisthenes.
If you're smart, keep it covered up with your cloak. One of those men who chopped off Hermes' dick might see you.
That's certainly good advice. Spartan delegate, by the twain gods, it is indeed. Come on, let's put our cloaks back on. Greetings, Spartans. We've had a terrible time. That's a bit unfortunate. I'll do the Spartan and you do the Athenian.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Dear colleague, we've had a fearful time. If those men saw us fiddling with ourselves.
All right, Spartans, we need to talk. Why are you here?
As delegates for a settlement.
Well said. We want the same. Why don't we call Lysistrata? She's the only one who'll bring a resolution to our differences.
Sure, by the twain gods and Lysistratas too, if you like. Enter Lysistrata from the Acropolis gates.
It seems there is no need to summon her. She's heard us, and here she is in person. I'll read leader of the chorus. Yeah. Hail to the bravest woman of them all. You must now show that you're resilient, stern, but yielding with a good heart. You're resilient, stern, but yielding with a good heart, but mean. Stately but down to earth. Stately but down to earth. The foremost men in all of Greece, in deference to your charms, have come together here before you, so you can arbitrate all their complaints.
Well, it's not a hard job. If you catch them when they're hot for it and not testing each other for weaknesses, I'll soon find out. Where's reconciliation? Enter reconciliation, costumed as a naked girl from the Acropolis. Take hold of the Spartans first and bring them here. Don't handle them with a rough or hectoring hand, or ignorantly, the way our husbands used to handle us. But use a wife's touch, like home sweet home. If he won't give you his hand, lead him by his weenie. Now go and fetch those Athenians too. Take hold of whatever part they offer and bring them here. Spartans, stand close to me, and you Athenians stand on this side. Now listen to what I have to say. It's true I'm a woman, but still I've got a mind. I'm pretty intelligent in my own right, and because I've listened many a time to the conversations of my father and other elders, I'm pretty well educated too. Now that you're my captive audience, I'm ready to give you the tongue lashing you deserve, both of you. You two sprinkle altars from the same cup like kinsmen. At Olympia, at Thermopylae, at Pytho. How many other places could I mention if I had to extend the list? Yet, when enemies are available, when with their barbarian armies, it's Greek men and Greek cities you're determined to destroy. That takes me through one of my arguments.
This erection is it's killing me.
Next, Spartans, I'm going to turn to you. Don't you remember when Pericleidas the Spartan came here once and sat at the altars as a suppliant of the Athenians, pale in a scarlet uniform, begging for troops? That time when Messenia was up in arms against you and the god was shaking you with an earthquake? And Cimon went with 4,000 infantrymen and rescued all of Sparta? After being treated that way by the Athenians, you're now out to revenge the country that treated you well?
Lysistrata, you're right. By God, they're in the wrong. Not true, but look at this incredibly fine ass. Looking at reconciliation.
Do you think I'm going to let you Athenians off? Don't you remember how the Spartans, in turn, when you were dressed in slaves' rags, came with their spears and wiped out many Thessalian fighters, many friends and allies of Hippias? That day when they were the only ones helping you to drive him out, and how they liberated you and replaced your slaves' rags with a warm cloak as suits of free people?
I've never seen a more gracious woman, says the Spartan ambassador. And then the Athenian the Athenian ambassador says, I've never seen a finer looking pussy, looking at the reconciliation.
So why, after so many fine favors done, are you fighting instead of calling halt to your misbehavior? Why not make peace? Come on, what's in the way?
In the negotiations which follow, the ambassadors use the body of reconciliation as a map of Greece, pointing at various parts to make their point. We're willing, but the part that's sticking out, we want that handed back.
What aboument, sir?
Pointing to the reconciliation's buttocks. This one here, that's Pylos. We must have that. We've been aching for it a long time now.
Give it to them, good sir. Oh, wait, you have a line.
Oh, yeah, it says, by Poseidon, you won't be having that.
Give it to them, good sir.
Then how do we make a trouble stir up shit?
You just ask for some other place in return for that one.
Inspecting reconciliation's body and pointing to her pubic hair. Then give us this whole area in here. First, there's Echinus and the Melian Gulf, the hollow part behind it, and these legs which make up Megara.
So footnote, Echinus, literally sea urchin place for female pubis. Malian inlet, malon, apple for buttocks, legs for the connecting walls of Megara.
By the twin gods, my god, my good man, you can't have all of that.
Let it go, don't be squabbling about a pair of legs.
I'd like to strip and start plowing naked. By God, yes, but me first. I'll fork manure.
You both may do those things after you've ratified the settlement. Now then, if after due deliberation you decide to settle, go back and confer with your allies.
What of our allies? We've all got hard-ons. Our allies will agree this is just fine. They're all dying to get laid. Ours as well, the Spartan ambassador says. No doubt of that. And the Carstians, they'll also be on board by Zeus.
You make a good case. For the time being, see to it you remain pure, so that we women can host you on the Acropolis with what we brought in our boxes. There you may exchange pledges of mutual trust, and then each of you may reclaim his own wife and go home.
Let's go and hurry up, the Spartan ambassador says. Lead on, wherever you wish. All right, by Zeus, as fast as we can go.
Exit Lysistrata reconciliation, and the delegates, the slaves, sit down outside the Acropolis gates, which are attended by a doorkeeper.
Right.
Chorus. Intricate tapestries, nice clothes and fine gowns, and gold jewelry, all that I own. I'll ungrudgingly provide to every one for their sons, and whenever a daughter marches with the basket. I now invite you all to help yourselves to the possessions of my house. Nothing is sealed up so tight that you can't break the seals and carry away whatever's inside, but you won't see anything unless your eyes are sharper than mine. If anyone's out of bread, but has slaves to feed and lots of little kids, you can get flour from my house. Puny grains, true, but a pound of them grow up to be a loaf that's very hearty to see. Any of the poor are welcome to come to my house with sacks and bags to carry the flour away. My houseboy will pour it in for them. A warning, though, don't come to my door. Beware of the watchdog there.
Open the door! From inside the citadel. The Athenian delegate comes staggering out of the citadel, evidently drunk. He's carrying a torch. Other delegates in the same condition come up behind him. Athenian delegates bump into someone by the door, probably one of a group of Spartan slaves standing around waiting for their master to come out.
Second Athenian delegate. Joining the first. Is that already there?
No, I need to read Athenian delegate A, and then you could go with B. Why don't you get out of my way? Why are you lot sitting there? What if I burned you with this torch? There's a stale routine. I won't do that. Well, if I really must, to keep you happy, I'll go through with it. The Athenian delegate A chases an onlooker away with his torch.
Second Athenian delegate, joining the first, and we'll help you go that extra mile to the slaves. To the slaves, he says, scram you. You'll cry for your hair if you don't.
Go on, piss off, so the Spartans inside there can come on out and go away in peace.
The slaves are chased on. Second Athenian delegate, I've never seen such a party. The Spartans were really charming, and we were superb company ourselves over the Greeks.
The Athenian delegate A. That's right. When we're sober, we lose our mind. I'll speak up and persuade Athenians. When our embassies go anywhere, they stay permanently drunk. As it is, whenever we go sober off to Sparta right away, we look to stir up trouble. So we don't hear what they have to say and get suspicious of what they don't state. Then we bring back quite different reports about the same events. But now these things have all been sorted out. So if someone there sang Telamon when he should have sung Cleitagora, we'd applaud the man and even swear quite falsely that The Spartan slaves they forced away from the door are gradually coming back. So that's like kind of stuff that's happening behind the scene. Well, yeah. And then he says, "Hey, those slaves are coming up here again. You whipping posts. Why can't you go away?"
They chased the slaves away. Well, now here they come out of the gates. Enter Spartan delegates from the Acropolis. The leader carries bagpipes.
All right.
Spartan delegate. I think you should maybe.
I'll read the Spartan one. "Here, my dear sir, take this wind instrument so I can dance and sing a lovely song to honor both Athenians and ourselves."
First Athenian delegate. Gods above, do take the pipes. I just love to watch you people dance.
And the music starts, and the Spartan ambassador sings and dances. "Oh, Mary, to this young man, send down your child the muse, who knows the Spartans and Athenians back then at Artemisium. They fought those ships like gods of war and overpowered the Medes, while we, I know, led by Leonidas, whetted our teeth like boars. With foaming mouths, which dripped down our legs, the Persian force possessed more fighting men than grains of seashore sand. O Artemis, queen of the wild, slayer of beasts, chaste goddess, come here to bless our tree, to make us long united. May our peace be always blessed with friendship and prosperity, and may we put an end to all manipulating foxes. Come here, oh come here, virgin goddess of the hunt."
Lysistrata escorts the Athenian and of Spartan wives from the Acropolis. First Athenian delegate. Well, now that everything else has been wrapped up so nicely, it's time for you Spartans to reclaim these wives of yours, and you Athenians these here. Let's have husband stand by wife and wife by husband, and then to celebrate our great good fortune, let's have a dance for the gods, and let's be sure never again to make the same mistakes. Bring on the dance, include the graces, and invite Artemis and her twin brother, the benign healer, and the Nysian, whose eyes flash, Bacchic among the Maenads. Footnote: Dionysus was reared on the legendary mountain of Nysa, and Zeus alight with flame, and the thriving lady his consort, and invite the divine powers. We would have as witnesses to remember always the humane peace which the goddess Kypris has fashioned. Chorus. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll do that. Lead on the dance, bring on the graces, and summon Artemis and her twin Apollo, the god who heals us all. Call on Bacchus and Nisus's god, whose eyes blaze forth amid his Maenads' ecstasy. And Zeus alight with flaming fire, and Hera, Zeus's blessed wife, and other gods whom we will use as witnesses who won't forget the meaning of the gentle peace made here by goddess Aphrodite. A lie. Raise the cry of joy, raise it high. Aye, the cry of victory. Aye, avoy, 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 avoy.
First Athenian delegate. Now, my dear Spartan, your turn to give us some music, a novel song to match a novel song. Do you want to do the Spartan?
This is the Spartan ambassador? I don't see where you're looking at.
I did the first Athenian delegate, and then there's the Spartan singing again.
Okay, so this is the Spartan one. Okay, just making sure. I was confused. I'll do the Spartan ambassador, yeah. Leave, lovely Taygetus, once again, and Spartan muse in some way that is appropriate for us. Pay tribute to Amyclae's god, and to bronze housed Athena, to Tyndareus's splendid sons, who played beside Eurotas, step now with many a nimble turn, so we may sing a hymn to Sparta, dancing in honor of the gods, with stamping feet in that place where by the river Eurotas young maidens dance like Philes raising dust, tossing their manes like Bacchantes who play and wave their Thyrsus stalks, brought on by Leda's lovely child, their holy leader in the choral dance. But come, let your hand bind up your hair, let your feet leap up like deer, sound out the beat to help our dance, sing out a song of praise for our most powerful bronze house goddess, all conquering Athena. They all exit singing and dancing. And then there's a
to the chorus. That's still you, I think.
I think that your translation is different than mine. These are endnotes at this point.
Yeah. No, I think it's finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
You read the whole thing.
It just says Spartan ambassador in my translation, and then it just goes to the end.
That's great.
That was fun.
We had guests.
Yeah, we had some people stop in. That was cool. No, it doesn't seem that far off. Man, that was really, really funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have really enough concentration to focus on the historical stuff. You know, when they mention battles and wars, that's basically what I should have been a bit focusing on for my course. But never mind, I can get back to that when I'm having my course. But it's a lot of it is what I expected it to be in terms of ideas about women not being traditional, or not being what we expect, what generally people expect them to be. I did expect it to be kind of progressive in this way, so that how is it called? Aristophanes actually has some, doesn't adhere to some strict notion of what a woman should be, and that Lysistrata is this person, is this kind of personage, or this figure that doesn't really embody any stereotype of woman. She's basically bossing everyone around and doing politics and knowing stuff, and learned from the elders about politics, and really interested in changing this war and getting people organized to change this war. And so it doesn't really apply to any stereotype. So in that way, he doesn't fit what we would expect, or what people generally think. Oh, the Greeks were just misogynists. But not everyone, obviously.
Yeah. It was really interesting thinking about the mindset the author must have been in when writing some of these characters. Like a lot of these sort of like cultural these sorts of ideas, they're probably kind of like used to like talking about them openly, or more openly than we are today.
Yeah. I mean, this was performed and it got a prize, so people really like this kind of stuff, and it has enough how is it called, enough comic relief that probably people tolerated the part about women taking over, because it had all this comic relief in it. But it's pretty clear that it would have annoyed people. Just it would have been provocative, still, even though it was very beloved as a play.
Yeah, it's kind of like how people like appreciate comedy because it's comedy, even if it they really don't wouldn't prefer to talk about the topics that are in comedies, like stand-up comedy. But because it's presented in like a joking manner, everyone's kind of okay with like laughing about it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think I should go to sleep now.
Oh yeah, it's probably like midnight.
Yeah, it's past.
Okay.
But it's good because now I've done this reading for my next week. So this is one part of my reading that I'm done with.
That's excellent. Yeah, and now you'll have something to think about as you sleep. Maybe you'll have dreams of men waving their cocks.
I hope so. Or the other side of the coin.
Yeah, hopefully the other side of the coin. Yep. Have a good night.
Thanks. Good night to you. Oh, good day.
Yeah.
Good day.
Bye-bye. Me and Oliver are cracking up. We had like 3 people watching. Like, I know that in the stream.